productions, which is Apollo Food Berhad and Saudi Group Berhad, because this company is related for hospitality industries. It is because this company have own advantage in hospitality industry. It also gives a management of valuable insights into the way it compare in the future. Apollo Food Berhad was found in Malaysia on 1994. Meanwhile, Saudi Group Berhad in 1985.
Trend analysis of Apollo Food Holding Berhad can be seen with liquidity ratio, activity ratio, leverage ratio, and profitability ratio. For example, liquidity of current ratio in 2019 was 15.71, increased to 16.65 in 2020. Secondly, activity ratio are often used to measure how efficiency a firm uses its asset. It has a asset turnover, account receivable turnover, average collection turnover, inventory turnover, and fixed asset. Furthermore, leverage ratio is a firm use debts as a source of financing and its ability to service debts. And last but not least, profitability ratio reflect on a company's operating profit are sufficient relative to the amount of asset invested.
I use 4 types of ratio. The first one is liquidity ratio. Liquidity ratio in these 2 years determine a company's ability to cover short-term obligation. Secondly, activity ratio. The asset turnover ratio measure the efficiency of a company asset in generating sale. Next, leverage or debt ratio. The term debt ratio refer to a financial ratio that measure the extent of a company leverage. And lastly, profitability ratio. The return of equity is a measure of the profitability of a business.
A comparative statement is a document that compares a particular financial statement with prior period statements. Previous financials are presented alongside the latest figure in side-by-side columns. It helps to ascertain the trend relating to sales, cost of goods sold, operating expenses, and the other part that relate to it. So we have provided the comparison of financial analysis of Apollo Food Holding Berhad and Saudi Group Berhad between 2 years, which is 2019 and 2020.
First of all, in 2019, you can see that every category majority graph for Apollo Food Company is higher than Saudi Group Company. But for the leverage or debt ratio, graph Saudi Group show higher than Apollo Food Company. In 2020, it is also same like year before. Comparative analysis in 2020 show that graph for Apollo Food Company majority is higher than Saudi Group Company. But the activity ratio graph for the average Saudi groups show that very big differences.
In this overall analysis, COVID-19 somewhat affect both company, namely Apollo Food Holding Berhad and Saudi Group. The effect has only a small impact on Apollo Food Holding Berhad compared to Saudi Group Berhad. From what has been studied through a comparative analysis between the two companies, it is clear to show that Apollo Food Holdings Berhad was more stable than Saudi Group Berhad when the impact of COVID-19 was hitting. For example, the comparative analysis performed for the two companies during COVID-19 is in terms of inventory turnover and gross profit.